tomorrow. We're starting tomorrow. So that's
Yay.
yeah, that's really exciting. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I have I think it's on Facebook now. Yeah, it
Great.
is.
Yes.
And right now also the other thing that I wanted to say, disclaimer today, is my voice is, you notice, is somehow today.
Yes.
Last week I was down most of last week.
Aw.
And then this last night I was going to bed, my voice was going,
Aw.
you know, so
Yes.
we'll see
Well,
how it goes.
I can't tell that anything's wrong. It just sounds like a sultry version
I
of
know it's
yourself.
like a deeper version of
It's like, yes, coach, I'm listening.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, so that's so we're working on your challenge, and I think a challenge is a very good place to actually start to show people um a deeper version of who you are, and a deeper version of, or more structured
mhm,
solution that you bring.
mhm,
Okay. You know, 3 days minimum, 5 days really good.
okay.
Now, after 5 days, it starts to become something else. Okay.
Mhm,
Now, because of most of the times the challenges are either, free challenges. Okay. And it's more like a lead magnet. Okay.
mhm,
Or a mini product. Okay.
correct. Yeah.
But again, the mindset around it is they've been seeing you, they know you a little bit now. Maybe they heard what you said, maybe they didn't, but then you say something that
Mhm,
actually grabs their attention, okay, and makes them to commit even further. Because what you're doing in a challenge is you're actually telling people to stop whatever they're doing and come to you.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now we live in a world where there's a lot of things happening, like information. It's just
Yes.
bombarding them with and so when you come up and you say, for example, if you say, I'm going to do a live stream at 7 p.m. today, uh people see it, and some with great intention will say, I'm going to be there,
Mhm,
and I'm going to come. And some will like it, some will say, thank you, da da da, right? But others, I mean, yes, they say they're going to come, but doesn't mean they're going to come.
yes.
Okay. And then sometimes they actually are there,
Yes.
but then something has happened because they're watching on
Mhm,
their phone. Somebody
right.
calls them on their phone. So
Mhm,
they're like, they just pick the call and they completely forgot what they were doing before
mhm,
the call came in, and
yes.
so different things happen. But when you're doing a live stream now, a challenge is and this is one of the reasons why I say, when you do your live stream, don't let it end there.
Mhm,
Repurpose that content so that other people can see, because you're now giving them a small portion of what you're doing, right? And
yes.
so it gets a lot more. And two things: you will be encouraged because you start to see more views on your
Yes.
content,
Yes.
uh,
The engagement.
the
I love it.
engagement. Exactly. You start to see more views. And then for them as well, it actually helps them because
Mhm,
it helps them with regards to procrastination. Because when they see the live stream, they see 30 minutes, they see 20 minutes, they say, I'm going to watch it later, but they never get to it. Right. But if it's a short thing and it's just a 60-second, less than, and it's very impactful, it actually is something that they're like, oh my God, that's really good. That's really true. That's really, that's what you want, right?
mhm,
So we want to have that in motion. And then once you have that, the next thing is now to call them to the next step. Okay. To call them to the next step. Now, ideally, I would have preferred that you have a lot more videos out before we
mhm,
do, and then maybe
mhm.
even you have like a group of people that are watching your
Yeah.
videos. Now, the live videos that you're doing right now,
Mhm,
I noticed that you posted one this week for this week, right?
Yes, tonight I do one, and then I'll
Okay.
probably do 2 or 3 more before we see each other again. Because I'm
Because you're
doing
doing it
now. Yeah.
more like on a weekday
Well,
basis.
you know what? I thought I was going to do it every day to match or keep pace with the daily challenge, but you know, too much is going on. So, but I'm committed to doing it just for the practice of it, and it gets me out there. So, um, yeah, they're only going to be 10 minutes. They're not going to be longer than 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
But I'm just going to keep doing it because it puts me before everybody. They're used to
Yeah.
seeing me talk.
Mhm.
I tie it into topics that are of interest right now. So it's
Mhm.
not about what he's doing anymore. I use
Mhm.
it as a reference and backdrop to what I'm
Mhm.
doing. So
Mhm.
people can see me and my thoughts, and
Mhm.
that I'm
Mhm.
cheering for them to become the best person they can be, that I can show them how to deal with overwhelm and to meet their
Mhm.
goals.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm messaging.
Mhm.
Even when I sent the announcement, I think I got 3 to 5 friend requests from women who are entrepreneurs. So the
Okay.
quality of people who
Okay.
are beginning to friend me is up leveling,
That's really
whether
good.
they wind up being, you know, affiliates and joint ventures or what, but
Mhm.
their audience. So yeah, the
Yeah.
audience definitely up leveled just from that one announcement of tonight's broadcast.
Okay. And that's on Facebook, right?
That's on Facebook.
Very good. Very
Yeah.
good. So they're going to be coming for the and where I was getting
Mhm.
to is I want to begin to count people as against
Right.
the views.
I
Okay.
sent a list out. I sent a notice to my list last night as well. Only
Okay.
18 people.
Mhm.
You know, but I did send them, you know, hey, in case you missed the Wisdom Challenge, I'm doing the debriefs, and I put all the links in there, and I told them to share it. So I did that as well. So my little 18 people, you know,
Yeah.
whisper of people, but I
Mm.
did follow through on the process of doing that as well.
That's
Uh,
really good. That's
yeah.
really good. Now, alongside that, what you could do also is at 6:58 or 6:55,
Mhm.
send out another email and say, I'm going live now, and
Okay.
put the link to the live stream. You
All
have
right.
that, right?
Yes.
So
I
you
did
put a
that.
link.
Yes, what you showed
Uh-huh.
me. It was wonderful.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So you just give them a link so that the people, peradventure, out of the 18, maybe
Mhm.
a handful of them will
Hey, if
see
one,
it
yeah, hey.
and just come,
Mhm.
right? It's very encouraging when you see people live with you.
Yeah.
And if I remember, I'm going to be at a party this
Mhm.
tonight, but if
Mhm.
I'm able to, I'll just be there. I
Mhm.
may not
Mhm.
listen, but I'll
Mhm.
just click on it to
Yeah.
see that
Yeah.
you have someone watching, because it's encouraging when
Mhm.
you see people there, especially at the beginning.
Yeah.
So that's really good. And like I was saying, I want to start looking at individuals as
Yeah.
against the views.
I
Okay,
understand.
because if we want to convert this to clients, we need to see people
Right.
and not the vanity metrics.
Yes,
Okay. Uh-huh.
yes.
So and when you begin to think people, it changes the way you talk, because
Mhm.
now you're not talking for YouTube and
Mhm.
no faceless people. You're
Mhm.
actually talking to a real person, right? And that's one of the reasons why I prefer, when you're just starting, I prefer Facebook to YouTube.
Mhm.
But it's great, to
Mhm.
multi stream. It's really good, because when you go Facebook, you know that there's a person, there's an actual person.
Mhm.
Even though YouTube too, but because you can't see
Yeah,
their
a couple
names,
of
you
them
don't
on the
know their
list, a couple of
yeah.
them on the list are YouTube subscribers.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so they go to YouTube. I
Yeah.
have about 3 to 5 people on my list
Okay.
who love to do the YouTube thing when I'm
Okay.
on, and they
Okay.
watch my little affirmation videos and stuff. I was surprised because one person did give me feedback and said she watches it every morning. Um, yeah, so it's
That's really
like,
good.
yeah, hmm
Mhm, mhm. That's very good. That's very good. And that's you giving them the affirmation.
yes,
Okay. Okay.
yes. I did the voiceover for like 30 affirmations, and then I did the B-roll with it. So I
Is
narrated it my own self.
Mhm, mhm.
And, that's where I first got engagement from strangers and other
Okay,
people. And then my one person said she watches it every morning. So I thought, okay,
that's really
so
good.
I'll do one of those. I'll do one of the two of those a month.
Every month, yeah.
Yeah.
That's very good. That's very good. Yeah, so that's really good. And so now the question is, when you're doing a challenge is an effective challenge, and I know Pedro is like the
Mhm,
challenge
mhm.
guy, right?
Yeah.
You know, and if you're going to follow Pedro, you're going to follow every single thing, that he says. If you're going to do a challenge, when is that going to be? Because, you and I now, we have officially
Yeah.
where we have
Yeah.
for the next 3 weeks we're
That's what I
together.
thought. It was about 3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more like beginning February,
Yes.
and then we'll
Yeah.
decide what
I
happens.
know that for sure. I probably would not be able to launch it before the end of this month.
Okay.
So it might be the final week that we're working together, but
Mhm,
that's okay because you've provided so much insight and training for me,
mhm,
and I'll be active in our community, with
mhm,
my results and sharing.
mhm,
So
mhm,
I
mhm.
figure I'll get support and
Yeah,
insight from you and
ab-
the group members that way. So that's what I'm telling
absolutely.
myself, to keep the pressure off. And that way I can just really focus on, like you said, having an effective challenge. But it'll
Mhm.
take me through the end of the month
Okay.
to start audiencing, messaging, building an audience, to get
Yeah.
some names and faces, collected to
Mhm.
go into the challenge.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's a great
yeah.
plan, because that's exactly what I was thinking too, that
Mhm.
um it would be, I mean, I always love to have real engagement, and that's
Mhm.
one is why I always say, you do a challenge, and
Yes.
it's been, most of my clients that have done challenges, they get clients from
Yeah.
the challenge.
Okay.
In short, all of my clients that have done challenges, I've got clients from their challenges, because it's like a bigger, they it's a higher level of your transformation that you're given to them.
Mhm.
You're
Mhm.
giving it, at a really, really low cost. Or I've not done anyone that did paid, okay,
Mhm.
challenge. But and the other way, because when you're starting from scratch, um, it can be a bit challenging to go paid.
Mhm. I
Mhm.
understand.
It can be a bit challenging to go paid. However, you not starting from scratch. You've done
Mhm.
challenges before.
Yeah, I've done so many offerings before I became a coach. And since I've been offering all kinds of things. And so I'm going to test it and say, you know what? Since I'm on, like you say, the Facebook is the one-to-one, but I
Mhm.
do have that. I'm building the audience, so to speak. Instagram, did I tell you they approved me as a paid?
Yes.
Okay. So it's like, you know what? I'm just going to test it. It's 23 for 23.
Mhm.
I figure that has enough of a call to action kind of gimmicky, and so I'm willing to test it.
Yeah, I like it. I
I'm
like it.
willing to
So,
test it.
yeah, so now when you're doing a challenge, um, you need to help people solve a particular problem.
Mhm.
Okay. And in your niche right now,
Mm.
what would you say is the problem that people in your niche want to solve?
Mhm. I would
Specific.
say,
Let's
yeah,
brainstorm that together.
right now, and when I think about the pillars that you had me work through,
Mhm.
the top of my mind always comes to overwhelm right now. It's the beginning of the year. In fact, tonight's broadcast, the topic is how to bounce back from a difficult year, turn your failures and mistakes into stepping stones for success or whatever.
Okay.
So I think that's what's still on people's minds. Some people have already, like you said, the warm audience who's already connected with themselves, they may have done some work, set some goals and whatever. There's some who set goals, but they didn't implement anything, but it's still on their mind to do so. And they might say, well, this will help me. But I'm thinking it's going to be reconnect. It's going to be on the self renewal, but it's reconnecting with yourself. Um,
Reconnect what?
reconnect. I think that's my first pillar. I think it was
Okay.
reconnect. So
Okay.
it's stop the overwhelm and reconnect with yourself.
Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I want to have an idea of what that means to
Mhm. Mhm.
what is that gonna mean,
Mhm.
to
Yeah, while you're asking that question, I think one of the things is become the best version of yourself. That's part of the whole language too.
okay.
So the
Okay.
challenge. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So becoming the best version of yourself means that number one, you stop the overwhelm and you're
Okay.
able to reconnect with who you are.
Mhm.
The first, you're always, you can stop and assess and say, okay, wait a minute, let me just catch my breath. Let me stop the cycle of overwhelm. And let me just reassess. In other words, I'm going to help them stop the overwhelm and get to see where they are right now, affirm who they are right now. And from that point, they can then begin to say, okay, this is what I want in my life right now, or this is how, so I don't know if that helps or,
Okay.
but yeah,
That's the
become the best version of yourself. Stop the overwhelm, reconnect
okay.
with yourself, which is really assessing, and become the best version of yourself. Those are
Okay.
kind of the, and
Okay.
when you become the best version of yourself, it means
Mhm.
that you're no longer, back to what you taught me, you're no longer staying awake at night. You're no
Mhm.
longer overwhelmed with to-do lists. You're
Mhm.
no longer distracted by things that keep you from your goals, or you're no longer triggered by difficult relationships at home and in the workplace.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
That's what it
Mhm.
looks like. It looks like you're rested. It looks like um, you have time for self-care
Mhm.
and your recreational leisure habits.
Mhm.
Um, does
Mhm.
that?
Yeah, it does. It does. It does help. What I'm saying, where I'm getting to, and we're talking about the one that you're doing tonight, right?
Yes, that
The one that you
tonight is
give me the title
bounce
again.
back. Uh-huh. Um, how to
Bounce.
bounce how to bounce back from a difficult year.
Okay, how to
Bounce
uh
back from a
bounce
difficult year. And
back.
then the subtitle is turn your mistakes and failures into stepping stones for success.
Stepping stones, success. It gives me, it's easier
Hmm.
for when I
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So how to bounce back from a difficult year,
Hmm.
turn your mistake and failures into stepping stones for success.
Hmm.
Okay. And who are you talking to tonight?
I'm going to be talking probably, well, mainly to women, kind of like
Okay.
women like me. I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, I looked at my metrics, most of it 60% women.
Mhm.
Um, but a lot of them are much younger. The 25, it's 25 to 44 and 40 something to 54. So that's who's watching my channels and materials.
Mhm.
On
Mhm.
a sidebar, I this organization platform, you may know it, Bark, BARK. They're
Mhm.
like a referral service for people,
Yeah.
and a lot of people sign on for counselors and coaches. And they've been sending me all these things. And what I noticed was there was the big majority is the 19 to 25 or 30-year-olds
Mm.
who are
Mm.
looking for coaching and willing to pay for it themselves, which I found very interesting.
Interesting. Interesting. Are you
Mhm.
signed up for with Bark?
I did only on the preliminary, so I completed a profile.
Okay.
But it's one of those things where you pay a monthly fee and they send you
Yeah. Yeah.
referrals,
Yeah.
and then you have to call the people right away. So in other words, I would be getting up in the morning,
Yeah.
calling people, calling a warm list,
Okay.
which isn't necessarily a bad idea, but I've
Mhm.
invested too much money already, so I'm not willing to spend that money on that at this time.
Mhm.
But the
Mhm.
information it gives me is great because I
Mhm.
really get to see the profiles of who needs what. And
Mhm.
there were many women in, 60 and above.
Mm.
Um, but the majority are females,
I-
19 to 30.
Wow.
And what I'm thinking about that demographic is they're in this world. We know how, the world is different from the world I grew up in. And so they haven't enjoyed the stability, the consistency. Now that people talk about toxic family dynamics and dysfunction, they've
Mm.
grown up with that and they're looking for answers. And many of them haven't been churched. So they are paying for coaches.
Hmm.
So
Interesting.
that's kind of like on my radar that they're watching
Mhm.
because they're looking for a voice, a message, and instruction.
Mhm.
And I'm the mother, grandmother figure.
Mhm.
So, I'm gonna pay attention to that.
That's very good. That's very good. Um, so when you do your video tonight, are you gonna be talking to um the 19 to 20, 30-year old, or
Mhm.
who are you? Because
Yeah, I
the
understand what you're saying.
message, the questions and the examples
Mhm.
and the illustrations and all that, it's great when you pick one person
Mhm.
and you talk directly to them.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. I thought about that and I'm laughing because I'm being a poor student. Because in my B-roll, I transitioned from Pedro's demographic, so to speak, back into my own message and demographic. But what I did in my B-roll is I have women uh, from the ages of 19 and I have everybody in there.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that may not be according to, the instruction or whatever, but
Mhm.
tonight's B-roll has young adults,
Mhm.
mature adults, even an older couple, um, in different things. So there'll be there's someone who's like there's a young lady who's, doing this, there's a man in the workplace who's shoving the papers off his tape. So I have addressed people who are working, people who
Mhm.
have families. I've shown all of the overwhelm that's happening
Mhm.
in the B-roll.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So um, and yet on my offer, like when I show the self-assessment, it has the woman there. Remember, I think I showed you
Okay.
that. And I
Okay.
haven't really changed that yet.
Yeah.
And I know that they say people tend to attract people like themselves
Mm. Mm.
anyway. So I
Mhm.
might be talking to whatever, but very often that's who responds to your message.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I'm not as worried about that.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I'm positioning by saying, address the overwhelm, whether it's career marketplace, financial distress, relationship problems, but I have the answer here.
Mhm. 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 And you have and your call to action is definitely going to lead to, your self-renewal assessments and
Yes, the assessment.
or self-renewal coaching session. I mean,
Correct. Correct.
uh-huh. Yeah, so that's good. B-rolls are great because they help to bring the emotions, right?
Mhm.
And it could be anyone. I mean, it's great if it's the demographic that you're trying to talk to,
Mhm.
but
Right.
really emotions are emotions. So that's
Mhm.
that's fine. And I'm not talking about that. I'm just
Mhm.
talking about for you when you're
Yeah.
talking to the person in the camera,
Mhm.
for that person to connect with you well,
Mhm.
it would sound better if they feel you're talking to them.
Yeah,
Okay.
I hear you.
So every time you're doing your video, now it's going to sound as if you're actually shortchanging yourself, because it's going to look like, why would I focus on Caroline, why should I focus on
Yes.
Caroline and leave out Sue and all these other, amazing people out there? This one is young, this one is old,
Mhm.
you're wondering, it's going to sound like that, but really it's not. Okay. But what it does is it makes the message sharp for Sue
Yes.
and Caroline and whoever
Yes.
is listening.
Yeah.
So put a picture in shots. One of the things that I have done, and I teach my
Mhm.
clients to do, is you can actually print out a picture of one of your ideal clients, right? And put a picture of them behind your camera,
Got it.
right? And then, talk as if you're talking directly at a coffee shop to this
Mhm.
person. When you do that, it does, just similar
Yeah.
to you and I talking right here.
Mhm.
If I was talking on the Facebook and I was talking generally to people, it's slightly different. Though I try to talk to people now, one-on-one on the camera, but it's you and I are talking right here.
Yes.
So I feel like, Karen is listening, right? I
Uh-huh.
can picture Karen listening every time I'm doing a video, right?
Yes.
You could do that, and sometimes, there's I have my board right here, that I sometimes use,
Ah,
and on this board, there was a time I had it behind me and I actually wrote the name of one of my ideal clients
yes.
so that my mind, I don't forget.
Mhm.
What would happen is I'll feel like I should help the lady at my church when I'm doing my video.
Yes.
So I start to use church example, or I start to use, my neighbor's example, like
Mhm.
it's confusing for
Yes.
the
Yes.
person that is listening, even though for you it makes sense and
Mhm.
the example is it just fits right in. But when
Mhm.
you remember that you're talking to that person on the board, you're like,
Right.
they don't need that information that I just
Mhm.
shared, like so it just helps you to because we are multi-talented and we have a lot of things that we are doing, right? And
Yes.
so to be able to now show up for the ideal client on camera is a slightly different thing, because you almost want to bring all of you into that, and it can
Yes.
be confusing to the
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Mm. So as much as possible tonight, try
Yes.
to stay on helping one person.
I got that.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Very good. You want to give me a flow of tonight, since
Oh
we're
boy.
here,
Um,
So
well,
talk to me
yeah,
as
it's
if.
the same format as before, where I, come on the countdown and welcome to the Better Than Ever You broadcast wisdom edition or wisdom debrief. And then I go into the question, are you trying to bounce back? Are you having difficulty bouncing back from a difficult year? Da, 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 da. I'm going to show you how to turn the failures and mistakes into stepping stones for success. And then I'm going to go right into it. We all know, let's face it, we're facing uncertainty. Da, 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 da. We're overwhelmed. So, I can, I don't care if I make mistakes with the clicking the buttons for the B-roll because I'm learning, but that's
Yeah.
basically, and I'll show the pictures there, da, 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 da. And then it's like, well, there's a way to do it. It's wisdom. And wisdom is truth applied to life's daily living or something like that is what I have. And then I'm like, okay, so let's jump into day one debrief. And why are we going to even look at the book of Proverbs? And then I'm like, well, King Solomon, I got a little B-roll, who he was and the scripture. I just read it and talk, And then it's like, okay, so let's figure out how we can, turn the stepping stones, da, 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 da. And then I kind of go through that. And then I told a story, I'm going to tell a story tonight, which I've
Very
never
good.
done. So
Okay.
I'm going to do the vulnerability, so the 3 tips for tonight are assess. That leads to all of my lead magnets, right? So you assess, and then you seek wisdom and counsel. You need a coach, and then you have what you need to, start something new and be with confidence. So those are like my 3 steps. And then I talk about a time. I said, there was a time when I was tired and burned out, da 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 da. And I used wisdom, I studied, da 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 da. And I realized I had this, I gained the strength to say, yes, I'm overwhelmed. Yes, I assessed myself and I needed some help. And so I got a coach. So that's kind of like my story. And those are like the 3 points. And
Mhm.
then I'll have the scroll about the self-assessment, bit.ly link scrolling. And then at the end, I'll, probably say, I'll focus more on book a conference, book a, discovery session with me, become a better you self, whatever I'm going to call it. And then I'll say the next show, we're going to talk about da, da, da. Can you live a long life without wisdom? It shouldn't be
Beautiful.
10 minutes.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that. I love that. I would love, the only thing that I would love to add to that
Mhm.
is I would love to add, so we're talking about becoming a better version of you.
Yes.
Okay. Let me
And there are
just
calls to
read it
action
again.
there too. I didn't mention.
Okay. So it's what
Yeah,
was it? How to bounce back
yes, bounce back.
from a difficult year
Yes.
and turn your mistakes and failures into stepping stones for success.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, if I see that, the first thing that is going to my mind is bounce back from a difficult year.
Mhm.
Okay, what was difficult last year for me?
Mhm.
I'm thinking me, I'm not thinking you.
Yes.
Okay, and so when I come there, I come with the mind of the difficulties that I had
Mhm.
last. Okay, and
Yes.
then how to bounce back from that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right. So as you're doing that, I'd love for you to find a way to pull them in. And when I was assessing your video, actually, that
Mhm.
reminds me, I wrote it down in my journal upstairs,
Okay.
that I'm going to tell you in your
Mhm.
videos, you do a lot. And I'm saying this because there's a difference between the keyword Facebook,
Right.
YouTube videos,
Yeah.
and the one that converts clients.
Mhm.
Okay. The one that converts clients, you want to talk to them.
Yes.
You want to practice talking to them as against we.
Mhm.
Okay. So when you say we or me,
Mhm.
it's not so inclusive, not even inclusive is not the word, but it doesn't feel, because
It's not
again, what
connecting.
people
It's either. Yeah. Mhm.
absolutely, what people are looking for is what's in it for me.
Mhm.
Okay, now at the beginning of doing videos, you will be thinking that I'm going to be talking at them, and I don't want to be the one that is talking at them.
Yeah.
Okay, but really what they're looking for is for someone to really understand them. They want to
Mhm.
feel understood. Okay, so now if you're talking about what difficult year was, okay, and how to bounce back from that, it will be important for them to feel like you understood why they had a difficult year.
Mhm.
Okay, so now when you're talking about it, you may say something that, especially the hook at the beginning. Is there anyone here that actually had, this XYZ
Yes.
experience?
Now,
Okay.
I have that in there.
Okay.
And I struggled because with how to word it, because
Okay.
no one wants to say, I lost my job, I hate my spouse.
Okay.
And so when I showed the B-roll of the different types and talked about the difficulties, and then I think I said, type in bounce back or something if you want to bounce back.
Okay.
But I played, when you were talking, I was playing around. I was like, well, you know what? If you had a difficult year, put in 1 if it was the job, put in 2 if it was finances, put in 3, so I thought that's an alternative that I see people use sometimes too. So that they're saying I had a problem, but they aren't telling everybody their personal business in the chat.
Exactly.
That
Yeah.
was the
Yeah.
difficult thing that I wrestled with, how to get them to how to do a call to action related to the hook that's not
Yeah.
exposing their personal life.
No. So you see, when it's a live video,
Mhm.
people at the beginning, because you don't have a lot of people that are going to show up yet,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
People are going to watch the replay. It doesn't matter if they don't respond
Mhm.
yet. Okay. But what matters at the beginning is an emotion that they felt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So because let's say you're doing the live stream now and you have 15 people watching.
Yes.
Right. Now you can say, if you had difficult marriage, put one in the chat. If you had some people would answer if it's like in a group, in a small group, you know, I mean, in a closed group. But on a big platform, people are still like, no, I don't want to say that. You know, my husband is going to see my phone and whatever, you know. So they don't want to put their business out there. However, they cannot, you know, if you make them feel a certain way, they will not forget that. Okay. So, and what we want them to feel is to feel that you see them, you know that there's a problem they're going through and it's real. Hey, it's real. Okay. So this is the point where in the live video, you're not, that's one of the reasons why I personally don't love the scripted videos, especially when you're just starting out. And when it's also a live stream, I like it to be, you know, where you pause, even in the replay, it's okay to pause and to say, yeah, it's hard. You know, sometimes, you know, I was talking with a friend of mine, or I was talking with a client, and I realized that situations that people are going through is real. You know, and you bring some emotions into it yourself. You know, as against, you know, I know that people are going through this. I know that, you know, they can't feel it, right? You know, so you pause in your own way, you know, like you don't have to be like another person, just in your own way, but make sure that and that was why I was asking at the beginning, that who are you talking to? Whoever you're talking to, take an example of a difficult year that you know they had. You know they had it. Okay, because you know, if somebody has in-laws, they had in-laws issues. If somebody had, you know, and whatever it is, health challenges. Most people have health. Like I've been down all week, right? You know, so you say some things that people can relate with, and don't rush through it, and say to them, you had this problem. I know you may have had an experience like this. Okay. And when they're listening to you, they feel what you're saying.
That's good.
So when they feel it, it helps them to stay, because, you know, like, for example, you say you're going to share a story after. Now, if they don't wait to the point where you share the story, then the story is not important anymore. It's not, it's not, they don't see the value of the story, right? And feel free to pause when you're going through the story as well. Don't rush through it. In short, there was a time I was doing a video. I was doing a video, and I still have to remind myself now to pause and actually feel the emotions that I felt when I was going through. You know, there was a day I was crying on live stream, right? Because personally, because I made myself feel that thing again, but at the same time, because that's what sells. That's what's going to connect with the person. You know, and when they see it, they if it's joy, you let them see the joy. If it's frustration, you let them see the frustration. If it's, you know, overwhelm, you just, you know, make sure guys still feel that same thing right now. And I don't know, you know, so you bring it out, right? And once you begin to learn the habit of doing that, you start to see it show up in your videos as you're doing the videos, and then also when you're repurposing the videos as well. It's very valuable. It goes with the shorts wherever it goes, you know, and it's able to draw people in. I love what you have so far. Beautiful. Yeah, I love what you have. The only thing that I would just love to add is just connect with them and talk to you as against to we and us. But the part that you and you feel free to say things like, and I'm going to share with you what, you know, some of the challenges that I had as well, you know, and say the challenge that you had, you know, as much as you're feel
Mhm.
comfortable sharing, but don't rush through it, don't brush through it. Because what
Mhm.
happens again is
Yeah,
if we,
it's like I want to be in and out in 10 minutes.
you know, if you rush through it, what happens is people are not able to, they can't feel
Yes.
you. They feel
Yeah.
like you're just, you copied and
Mhm.
pasted everything and you want to just go through,
Mhm.
right? Because,
Thank you.
for example, yeah,
Yeah,
you're welcome.
I've heard this, of course, many times, but you've explained it in a deeper way and perspective, and maybe I'm ready to hear it and it makes more sense because I'm now,
Practice.
practicing it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I like what you said too about scripted versus non-scripted. So that allows me to relax
Exactly.
about the script that I made, and that I can
Mhm.
relax and have that conversation. And yes, if I want to show the illustration, fine, but that helps me relax with the
Absolutely.
scripted part of it, and
Mhm.
just again focus on connecting. Um,
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
I
Yeah, no,
like that.
it's great. It's great.
I
It's
like
great.
that.
It's great.
And those are things that new video messengers um learn, because it's like, okay, it's giving me permission to be the thought leader. It's
Absolutely.
another level of it. It's like I reached one level of comfort with it, but this is a whole nother level and dimension of it,
Yeah.
um, to
Yeah.
embody it, what you
Yeah.
just.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. And the comfort that you're building and confidence that you're building, becoming that is really good. Because that respected expert status that we're going forward to, I mean, towards,
Yeah.
is that's what brings you there, and then, as you begin to boldly communicate like that, after a while, people start to see, right?
Mm-hmm.
That, oh, that's the next thing that
Mm-hmm.
this is, if you're looking for this particular topic, talk to this person.
Yeah.
And we want a lot more people, not only people that know you personally,
Mm-hmm.
we want people in the world, in the fields, in the niches,
Yeah.
everywhere, to begin to find it easy to know what to call you for.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why, talking to one person is
Right.
extremely important.
I
Because
get it.
if you continue to talk to a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to take you a lot longer for people
Yes.
to recognize you as a niche expert.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So try to keep it towards, but you see, the thing is, as you're doing this, and all the people that you're talking to and are engaging with you will fine tune your message,
Mm-hmm.
and they
Mm-hmm.
will fine tune your niche. They'll
Yeah.
start to tell you what they're looking for. For example,
Mm-hmm.
like the program that I'm running, for clients now,
Yes.
the one that I was talking
Yes.
to you about,
Mm-hmm.
these are feedbacks, okay, that made that happen. I never thought, people would be interested in, doing, I've always had all sorts of things that I have
Mm-hmm.
done, but because for me it's so easy, I just do it,
Yeah.
right? So it's now breaking things
That's why we
down
love
for
you.
people.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
so breaking things down just helps, you won't know that it's what people want.
Mhm.
But yeah, it does help. It does help a lot.
Mm.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, so I'm taking away that I'm gonna, in my head, I've got to
Mhm,
balance the energy of coming in with a hook
mhm,
and drawing people in, with
mhm,
slowing down to connect
mhm.
and allow them to be seen and heard, and to share my story with them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. I love that. And I'm going to send you and we'll continue to do
Mhm.
this. So we have 3 more meetings, actually today is the second one in January. So it's 2 more meetings. This is
Okay.
the 2 more meetings. And so what I will do is I will also share with you. I want to audit your videos as you're doing
Mhm.
them. I'll update again, because like I did the last one, I'll do that again today. But then this week I will share with you uh, 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 SOP
Mhm,
for
mhm.
challenge.
Okay,
Okay, that I do, like
I like
smaller.
that.
Yeah. So I'll share that with you, and then you can walk through it, so that maybe not next week,
Mhm,
because I still want to fine tune your videos.
mhm.
Okay, and then questions around how for your repurposing, how's that going?
I'm comfortable with it.
That's good.
For me right now, it's balancing life
Okay.
and this.
Okay.
So I'm comfortable with repurposing.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, for me, it's because I'm the one man band,
Yeah.
just juggling that and life.
Uh-huh.
Just getting out the emails and notices last night took
Uh-huh.
longer than I wanted. And I have a list of what I call health and fitness, things. I've broken it down to daily because I've got to balance that this year. I've been going 2 years now, full force. So that's got to moderate now.
Okay.
And so it's like, how can I get things done? So yeah, I'm good with repurposing overall, um, for now,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
overall. And I'll have a list or something ready, or I'll send you something, um,
Mm.
if something comes up, but I'm comfortable with repurposing.
Very good.
So
Very
yeah,
good.
I'd like the edit or the audit and to talk about challenge,
Uh-huh.
your expertise with
Okay.
challenges.
Very good. Very good. So then the next two meetings, we're going to use it fully to start planning
Mm-hmm.
your challenge.
Yeah.
Very good. Very
And
good.
hopefully I'll be building some names and groups. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. And then the other question that I had was your what's it called? Your live stream, the one that
Hmm.
you're doing now. Are you last week we talked about connecting with people inside of the Wisdom Challenge group.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were able to
Not
connect.
really. Not really. I mean, I'll be able to share my wins and all of that. I can go in the community and
Mhm.
share, um, my progress, my wins, my excitement. Um, and I can just say, this is what I'm doing, da 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 da. And maybe I could share the announcement, you
Okay.
know, but that's pretty much it for now.
Okay.
And
That's
as
okay.
yeah, that's it for now.
Okay. Okay.
But there'll be other opportunities
Okay.
as we
Okay.
go along and as I am in the community more and understand more how things work.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
And
When you
are
share your
you
wins, people want to see the link and
yeah.
they connect that way. So
Okay.
it
Okay.
would be wise to go in there and I could say, hey, this is what I'm doing. And
Mhm.
if I showed them what I'm doing, then those who might be interested will click the link and share and
Abs-
give feedback. And that's a
Absolutely.
start to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a very good
Yeah.
way of doing it. Just give them this is what I'm working on. I
Hmm.
actually just did a live video and as a result of this, and
Hmm.
I would love your feedback.
Hmm. Yeah,
Uh-huh. So
exactly.
it's good. It's good. It's good.
Hmm.
Very good. Very good. I have 3 minutes. I'm gonna stop sharing on Facebook
Okay.
while we wait.